are you? It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me here. I have 10 different credit cards because this way I can travel for free. Oh my god, can you imagine? I waited forever for them to deliver my order. I can only drink ice cold water. I'm gonna go to a pharmacy to buy a new book, some cool toys for my niece, and maybe even some groceries. I just ran 10 miles and I think I already lost a pound. Yeah, I don't like this present. I think I'm gonna return it. So I just went to a restaurant and I had to leave a tip, and also I called a cab back home and I also had to leave a tip. Tips everywhere. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to tell you 8 interesting facts and stereotypes about Americans. 2 years ago I lived in New York for 6 months and I got to experience a lot of weird things. And I feel like in this video the things I'll be mentioning are more like facts and less like stereotypes. But before we start, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, the ELSA Speak app. But more about them later. Let's talk about the first weird fact about Americans. The fact that everyone is so polite, everyone likes to smile, everyone is so friendly, but actually it has a really good explanation. So the reason why a lot of Americans are so polite and friendly and they smile so much is because America is a very diverse country. And I read an article somewhere and it said that many years ago, when a lot of different people were coming to America from different countries, they couldn't really understand each other because of this language barrier. And since they couldn't communicate with language, they decided to start communicating with smiling, right? With being polite and just smiling all the time. But here I gotta mention one thing. When I was in New York, sometimes it was really strange to me when Americans would ask me, "How are you?" But then, you know, they didn't really care how I was. It's just a way for them to say hello, right? They're not looking for an answer. So for example, if you're going grocery shopping and like a person might ask you, "How are you?" you can just say, "How are you?" back, and that's it. You don't need to give them an extensive reply about your day, about who you are and where you're from. You can just say, "How are you?" back. It's just a way of saying hello, of greeting a person. Let's talk about the second fact, or the second stereotype, is that a lot of Americans travel for free. The reason why a lot of Americans travel for free is because they have a very good credit card system that gives them rewards. And it is true that a lot of Americans who know about all those benefits and perks, they use those airline miles to travel for free. And that's why at the very beginning of the video I said that, you know, I have 12 credit cards. This is something that people in America call credit card churning. You know, when they use different credit cards just for bonuses, just for points, to travel for free, to experience something for free, and that's it. But obviously to do this successfully, you need to be really smart with your money and you need to know which credit card to apply for. Sometimes banks will not even issue you certain credit cards, but a lot of Americans are usually pretty smart and they know which credit cards to apply for. And right now we have YouTube and there are so many cool videos where you can learn about credit cards in America. Stereotype number 3 is that Americans like exaggerating things. Again, maybe it's a stereotype, maybe it's more like a fact. Obviously, it's all very individual, but even in the language, right, in the English language, a lot of Americans would just use, like, you know, exaggerations all the time. Even from the word awesome, for example. Awesome is like a very American word. It means that something is truly great, truly amazing. But Americans would just use it all the time, you know? That's awesome. Thank you for helping me. Awesome. For example, when Americans meet up with a friend they haven't seen for a while, they might say, "I haven't seen you for ages." You know, this expression "for ages" is a very good one. Or for example, when a girl meets a cute boy, she might say, "He's drop dead gorgeous." Again, we're exaggerating things. And guys, if you want to sound more American, even for example, when you use those exaggerations, if you want to have a more American accent, you should give ELSA a try. ELSA Speak is a unique app that pinpoints your pronunciation mistakes by using cutting-edge artificial intelligence technology. And when you use their app to study, you also learn a lot of new vocabulary for daily communication. And eventually, this will help you increase your English speaking skills. Let me show you some of the things I love about the ELSA Speak app when I practice my pronunciation. First, I love improving my pronunciation with the help of all the different skills they have there. For example, have you noticed that Americans pronounce the word water as water and not water? And the reason is that they changed this T sound to a flap T sound, and this app can help you master this sound. Let's try with the word city. As you can see, this T sound is a flapped sound, so we have to say city, not city. City. Yep. This is how you do it. And the app rates your pronunciation and helps you if you have any mistakes. Another problem that a lot of non-native speakers have is distinguishing between the E and I sounds. For example, in the words sit and seat. And again, the ELSA Speak app can help you here as well. So as you can see, we have the word eat here. Let's just listen to find the correct pronunciation.
Eat. It.
Yeah, so the correct pronunciation is eat, the first one. So guys, overall, I highly recommend using the ELSA Speak app because a lot of my students are already using it and they're absolutely loving it. And I love the app too. ELSA is just a great resource to improve your accent and receive detailed feedback. And you can give it a try by using my link in the description. Now let's move on to the fourth weird fact about Americans and talk about drinks. At the very beginning, I mentioned that Americans love drinking ice cold drinks, and it is true. And actually, it's very interesting to see how in a lot of different restaurants there are still free refills. So you can get free refills almost everywhere you go, and obviously you don't need to pay for them. And what is also interesting is the drink sizes, because guys, they're gigantic. You know, a lot of different like pictures online, memes online where like a person gets like a medium coffee and it's like huge, you know? And for Americans, it's just like a medium cup of coffee, something they're used to drinking every single day. Another weird fact about beverages is that in America, I think maybe not in every single state and city, obviously, but in a lot of different places, you can drink tap water, and a lot of people do. Again, when I was living in New York, I was drinking tap water. Right now, I live in Russia, in Moscow, and in Moscow, no one drinks tap water. It's not something you do. Like in Russia, generally, I guess people just don't drink tap water, but in New York, everyone is doing that. Now let's talk about the American pharmacies. So in America, you can buy almost everything at a pharmacy. In Russia, for example, in pharmacies, you usually only buy pills, medicine, right? That's it. You can't buy toys, books, groceries. You can't. But in America, you can. And a lot of people do, because in America, pharmacies are just huge, you know, huge places where you can buy almost everything. And guys, let me know in the comments if in your country it's the same as in America, so you can buy almost everything in a pharmacy, like medications and toys and food, or is it different? Because again, in Russia, it's completely different. I can only buy medications there. Okay guys, it's time to talk about the imperial system and how in America people still use it, and it's very confusing for other people from other countries. Let's start with dates first, because there's even confusion when it comes to dates. And we're not even talking about the imperial system. So in most countries, people write day, month, year. But in America, people write month, day, year. And it's very, very confusing, you know, especially if you see the date like this, you're like, is it a month? Is it a day? Like, what's happening? I don't understand. So yeah, this is a cool fact about America, the way they write their dates. So now let's talk about the imperial system. It's very confusing if you're not born in a country where everything is measured in miles, ounces, and inches. And that's why when I came to America, everything was so complicated. I didn't even know my own weight and height, because obviously I only knew all those measurements in kilograms and centimeters, not in feet and pounds. Yeah. It was really hard. Yeah, now let's talk about the gift-giving culture and actually the culture of returning things. In America, it's very common to return a thing, like a present, a gift, if you don't like it. And even like if you bought something online or at a store and later you don't like it anymore, you're not gonna use it anymore, you can return it. It's very easy. Obviously, it depends on a company, but usually most American companies, they make it really easy for you to return stuff. And when it comes to presents, again, a lot of people are really chill about it. If you don't like this present, just return it. It's totally fine. But again, guys, I'm very curious what's the situation like in your country. Is it common for people to return gifts? And if people do return gifts, how do people who give them those gifts feel? Like, what do they feel like? Do they feel, yeah, it's totally fine, like I don't really care? Or do they get offended? Let me know in the comments. And now let's talk about the last fact about Americans and about life in America is the fact that you need to tip everywhere. You need to tip to everyone and everywhere. Where you go to a restaurant, obviously you need to tip. Sometimes tip is even included in your check and you can't opt out. And sometimes this amount consists of 25% of the bill, which is a lot, which is substantial. Because again, for example, in my country, some people don't tip like at all, even when they go out to a restaurant, but some people, they only leave, I don't know, maybe 10%, 15%, but never 25. 25 is a lot. So guys, I think it's gonna be it for today's video. I just told you so many cool facts and interesting stories about life in America, about how I was so surprised when I was living in New York for 6 months. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any cool stories from your country, share them in the comments. And if you want to improve your accent, if you want to train your pronunciation to sound more like an American, make sure to check out the ELSA Speak app by using my link in the description. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram because there I share my everyday life. If you want to get a script to this video, make sure to join me here on YouTube by clicking this join button, or you can also support me on Patreon where I upload exclusive content to help you learn English. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!